Hello, welcome back to Fire's Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Suzerain 2.0. So, last time out, we talked with Alban Clavin of the reformist wing of the party about, trying to get some extra support for our reform bill. We also dealt with a couple of other little bills, like, the Religious Harmony Bill and the Foreign Aid. And then we talked to our cabinet about our immigration policies. Yeah, a whole bunch of fun stuff there. And now it's time for us to go have a party with Petr. Far from becoming accustomed to my workload as president, I only felt more and more snowed under as weeks passed. It had been ages since I had any time for myself. I was starting to lose my focus, and my temper was growing increasingly thin. Petr was the first to realize I needed a break. After much cajoling, he finally persuaded me to come to a meeting of his new venture, Gentlemen's Club. The past few months, he'd been hosting a salon of sorts, not just for politicians and businessmen, but also for artists, entertainers, people of taste, he told me with a smile on his face. There was only one rule: no wives or girlfriends allowed, hence the name. And so I found myself in front of his new luxury villa in Earlery. Very loud jazz music emanated from inside. I waited and waited. Finally, Petr opened the door. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Anton, finally, now the real party can start. Come on in. As soon as I entered, Petr closed the door and turned to the small crowd. Gentlemen, a minute of your time, please. I have the privilege to present to you the man himself, the fourth president of Solon, Mr. Anton Rain. I'd known him for long enough to understand that he was more than a little drunk. He made an elaborate mock curtsy as I passed him and walked into the room. The music stopped and I felt everyone's eyes on me. Thank you, Petr. What's next? A choir? A marching band? No, I'm saving those for the funeral. Petr laughed very hard at his own grim joke before continuing. Dear members, please give a warm welcome to our very special guest, if I may, Anton. Here, take this. He handed me a glass of whiskey and put his hand on my shoulder. We all know why we're gathered here tonight, to celebrate life, to have a brief escape from our tumultuous professions. I personally don't know any better cure for stress than a little drink. Only a little one? A few people in the crowd chuckled and some raised their glasses. Now, the tradition dictates as the club president, I have to remind you of our house rules. There are 3. No politics, no wives, no one sober. Cheers. Petr drank the whiskey in his glass in one go. We're just gonna sip it. I took a sip from my whiskey. Anton Rain might have the power to make presidential decrees, but I, Petr Vector, the president of this club, now declare this party started. Music, go! Band started up again. After the crowd around, greeting the crowd around me, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Let me show you around. We walked through the corridors of his mansion. Statues and paintings lined the stark white walls. An arched window provided a view of the neatly manicured grounds, complete with a swimming pool. A grand Lesbian marble staircase led up to the second story. Petr gestured at the massive crystal chandelier hanging overhead. The chandelier was made in the 18th century. Can you believe it? There's even a hedge maze in the garden. Dude, how are you paying for all of this? I'll let you in on a secret. Gus Manger has a lot of contacts in real estate. Brokered an amazing price for me. He'll also be here tonight, by the way. Perfect. I've been looking for a chance to speak to them about investment opportunities. He'll have a once-in-a-lifetime deal ready for you. He always does. We continued walking until we circled back to where we had started. So, what do you think of my little hideaway? It's amazing, but I'd hardly call it a hideaway. More like a palace. Yeah, it definitely doesn't rival yours. Anyway, let's get back to the party. Yeah, but you own this place. The president doesn't really own the presidential mansion. I arranged for some caviar to be brought in from Lesbia. You're gonna love it. He opened the door to the main hall, and we rejoined the other guests. The music was louder now, and the mood decidedly more inebriated. Cocktail waitresses were carrying around plates of canapes, wearing dresses that left little to the imagination. So, this is what you've been hiding from Evelyn. No one's hiding anything. She knows how important it is for men like us to blow off steam once in a while. He averted his gaze for a second before calling over one of the waitresses. She was in her mid-20s, wearing red lipstick, her blonde hair neatly tied in a ponytail. On her plate were toast points slathered in the lesbian caviar Petr had mentioned. I took a bite. It was rich, salty, tasting of pure seaside. I could almost hear the sound of waves and seagulls. Lesbian caviar, best in the world. I'm telling you, Anton, there are few pleasures in life that are this. As the waitress left to serve another attendee, she flashed a quick smile at Petr over her shoulder. He smiled back a little too broadly. Sensual. His eyes were still fixed on her, with an expression I remembered from our many nights out together as students. Oh, look, there's Gus. Why don't you go talk to him? We'll be back in a minute. Petr, I'm warning you. Don't make a mistake. A mistake? What are you talking about? I'm just going to the, washroom. See you shortly. He left the room and I headed over to Gus. Gus Monge staying next to a couple of men that I recognized as banking industry magnates. As I approached, all of them turned to me and bowed their heads. Mr. President, toast our new member, everyone. Gus and I clinked our glasses as the people around us raised theirs. You don't seem at all surprised to see me here. Yeah, that's because Petr told me you're going to come. He also told me that you might be interested in potential opportunities, such as, well, this. He opened his arms, gesturing at our opulent surroundings. Let's take a walk. The balcony is amazing view of Rillery. We left the room and made our way to the balcony. On the way, he took out 2 cigars and held one out for me. I took the cigar and started smoking it. Mixed with the taste of the whiskey, it was delicious. We went out to the balcony. All of Rillery was at our feet. From this vantage point, I was able to see how expansive the building plot was. The swimming pool and the hedge maze were visible from here. Leaning over the railing, I admired the view for a moment before Gus spoke up. I know you're wondering about the deal Petr made. In a nutshell, thanks to my network, he's able to procure this house for half the asking price, which would have been impossible under any other circumstances. Now I'd be delighted to discuss a similar arrangement with you. In fact, I've prepared a document with my own personal favorite opportunities. Your willingness to invest in Gazlam showed you're a man after my own heart. I'd love to talk about how my network can benefit you personally. I'm glad my investment decisions are paying off. Cheers to investments paying off, then. He downed his whiskey. Let's talk about the details, then. Gus opened his briefcase and pulled out a thin dossier. He showed it to me. My first offer is, of course, real estate. There's a vineyard close to Rillery, about a 1-hour drive from here. That also includes a very large villa. A beautiful plot, but rather neglected, so there'd be a fair amount of renovation costs. On the bright side, he'd be able to produce your own wine. The previous owner was Geralt of Rillery, a world-renowned vintner. There's also the option of a football partnership. I already own a large portion of FC Arc, and I'm doing my best to make them champions. Buying it would be more expensive than the vineyard, but this season will bring a lot of returns. I'm quite positive. Give me the word and I'll start the procurement process, but we must act quickly as these options might soon disappear off the market. Okay. Let's see. I mean, I always personally just enjoy buying the football club. But we only have 2 wealth, and I'm not sure if this will pay off before we need money to help lobby for the reforms. So we're gonna go with the vineyard. Oh yeah, you got an achievement for that too. Sweet. Alright, the vineyard in Rillery. I've always wanted to have my own wine, and it sounds peaceful and quiet. Excellent. I'll start the process right away. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. President. He left to rejoin the party. Alone on the balcony, I looked out over Rillery. Suddenly, I heard a rustling from the hedge maze below. I looked down and saw a silhouette. 2 silhouettes, actually. So close together, they seemed to be entangled. I squinted and tried to get a better look. It was definitely 2 people kissing, but I couldn't see either of their faces. I returned to the party and spent some time mingling with the other guests, engaging them in small talk about their businesses, their children, and their relationships. I realized it had been a while since Petr left. I looked around but couldn't find him. Instead, my eyes landed on Emil Alfonso. Well, that's new. With a smile, the former president walked over to meet me. Let's see. Mr. Alfonso, I didn't know you were a member of Peter's club. I'm not. Gus and I were having a business dinner, and he convinced me to come along afterwards. I saw you speaking to Mrs. Manger earlier. We talked, yes. It's always nice to get to know one's ministers outside of the Maroon Palace. We had a good chat together back in Narbel, as I recall, resulting in your very wise decision to invest so much money in Gasol. We're seeing growing interest from international investors, by the way. I'm optimistic about the results of Solden's investments. I'm glad that Sorlin can help your company thrive, and vice versa. Just then, Petr came up from behind us and threw her arm around each of our shoulders. Look at you two, Sorlin's bright future and its ancient past. My apologies, Mr. Alfonso. My vice president's had a bit too much to drink. Pardon me, Mr. President, but I've had exactly enough. Well, Mr. Alfonso, have you been enjoying my hospitality? Alfonso smiled politely. Indeed I have, Mr. Vector, and you put together one hell of a gathering. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a quick word with the CEO of Soldier Petroleum. He's here too? What party? Alfonso gave a brusque wave and walked off. Petr shifted his weight unsteadily. Nice guy, a shitty president, but a nice guy. Is that you in the hedge maze, Petr? What are you talking about? You're gone. I saw two people kissing in the hedge maze outside. Well, probably a couple of kitchen staff getting frisky with each other. What do I even pay them for? Petr, you know you can tell me anything. I thought I saw his cheerful expression slip for a moment. Yeah, I know. Trust me, it's nothing. Oh, who wants a drink? Besides me, of course. He poured us 2 large glasses of whiskey, and we drank them in one go. Throughout the party, we drank and drank, just like old times. I woke up the next day with a pounding headache and more than a few regrets. My recollections of the evening were hazy, but there was one important detail that kept coming back to me. The red lipstick on Petr's collar. But maybe my memory is playing tricks on me. Fantastic. Alright, let's see, we've got a couple of reports. That's kind of cool. Yeah, a couple of reports, a couple of newspapers, so let's just start over here. Alright, from Sarna, BFF and Bluish Education Bergia. Governor Felix Braun reports the discovery of Bluish Freedom Front propaganda in most schools that teach in the Bluish language. This highlights the BFF's efforts to recruit and radicalize young people in Bluish majority areas. The government is urged to take immediate action to address the BFF's recruitment strategies to prevent further radicalization of young people. Governor Braun asks the lawmakers to introduce a ban on the Bluish language as a primary education language, and asks the government to properly enforce the national language of Sorlin to everyone. Some good racism. Alright, from Holsworth, HSU fire investigation suspended. A lack of further evidence from the investigation into the fire that occurred at the Holsworth State University archives has caused the case to be suspended until further notice from the police and SID. Cordon has been lifted. Cool, so we just have the 2 reports. Alright, so newspapers we got. Let's see, from the Holsworth Post, BFF poisons Sorter schools. Governor Felix Braun's latest report reveals a troubling development in the ongoing fight against the Bluish Freedom Front. It has come to light that BFF propaganda has been found in schools teaching the Bluish language, indicating a sinister effort to radicalize young people in Bluish majority areas. Governor Braun's swift action bringing attention to the issue highlights his commitment to protecting the citizens of Bergia from BFF's harmful influence. Governor Braun also proposed to introduce a ban on the Bluish language as a primary education language towards ensuring national unity and preventing further radicalization. He called the lawmakers to immediately draft a bill that enforces Sortish education to all citizens of Sorlin. We believe it is essential that the government takes immediate action to address BFF's recruitment strategies to properly enforce the national language of Sorlin. Governor Braun's leadership in this matter is commendable, and we fully support his efforts to safeguard our country's security. Pretty sure I already knew this, but damn, this whole sword post racist. Alright, sword on today. Progressive investment in rural development. The government's decision to invest in the Greeny Rural Development Investment Plan is a promising step towards revitalizing our rural economies. This initiative will not only secure a nation's food sustainability, but also uplift agrarian communities. It's an encouraging sign of the government's commitment to a vital sector of our economy. And President Rain saves the day. According to the information we've received, President Rain has decided that he will veto the Religious Harmony Bill. The bill itself has the words harmony in it. However, don't be fooled by the name. The proposal prepared by Sarah Keebner took a stab at the heart of the Bludish populace by banning Bludish language from being spoken at religious assemblies. If not for President Rain, this bill would have come to pass. Every single Bludish should be grateful for the exemplary decision by the President. Fantastic. Alright. So, we're heading to Benfi. I guess it's time for the Benfi Festival? Yes, it is. Alright, the opening of the Benfi Festival. Our motorcade slowly made its way towards the magnificent Benfi High Arts Center. Night was falling, and the festival was about to begin. I flipped through the brochure that had been given to us at the hotel. On the front page, there's the face of Curtin Lest, Mayor of Anarcha. He is a Benfi native who had a long-standing relationship with the city's current mayor, and had been personally invited to make tonight's opening speech. The Benfi Festival is one of the biggest events of the year. It originally marked the start of the annual religious pilgrimage, a weeks-long journey still undertaken by devout Nurists. But today is better known as a cultural celebration that drew thousands of revelers to the city. There were film screenings, concerts, theater and dance performances, art exhibitions, and celebrity-studded nightly galas. The opening ceremonies were broadcast on TV and watched by millions. As the car slowed, a coterie of reporters and security guards rushed to meet us. I turned my attention to Monica. Since I refused to let her make the opening speech, her attitude toward me had changed. She now only spoke to me if I asked her a question or if there was something important concerning the children. Will you ever forgive me? I told you my reasons. I know, I understand. It's just going to take me some time. She clearly did not want to pursue this topic any further. As soon as Serge opened the door, we were enveloped by the roar of the crowd. The next few minutes were a blur of handshakes, photos, and reporters' questions. The onlookers cheered as we walked the red carpet to the newly built arts center. We followed the guards through the cavernous white halls until we came to a set of arched doors leading to the auditorium. We waited outside as security did a quick sweep of the area, then headed in. I have been asked to make a quick set of remarks introducing Curtin Lest. I beckoned Monica to join me on the podium. I'm going to find my seat. Monica brushed past me, took her seat in the front row, and crossed her arms. I walked alone to the podium. I spoke for just a minute, reading a paragraph my speechwriter churned out about the importance of the festival in Benfi Festival. I concluded by inviting Curtin Lest, the mayor of Anarcha, to the podium. I stepped down and joined Monica in the front row. Her arms were still folded. Welcome to the first day of the Benfi Festival. He paused for a moment to let the crowd cheer, and his eyes briefly met mine. I nodded. Well, this is a night for the people of Benfi, indeed for the people of Solden, to put aside their differences and come together in celebration. Yet, as we unite for the festivities, we must remember the real reason we are gathered here. The crowd fell silent. The people were giving their full attention to what he had to say. This festival was founded around the principles of our cherished religion, Nurity, yet over the years it has been severed from its sacred roots and become something else, something more perverse. An excuse for public drunkenness and grotesque displays of the flesh. An occasion for young women to parade their bodies and engage in lascivious behavior. As he went on, I could see Monica become increasingly agitated. And yeah, this dude's kind of a dick. What the hell is he talking about? Lascivious behavior? What century do you think we live in? I don't know, just let it be. Monica turned back to watching speech, a frown on her face. Perversion hidden under the guise of art is not befitting the beautiful city of... The crowd was becoming restless. Many of the younger attendees were murmuring disagreement, while a few of the older ones were nodding vigorously. As I said, perversion hidden under the guise of art is not... enough. The hall fell silent. Monica rose and continued. Mr. Lest, it's not young women who are disgraced the fine festival, but you. You and your backwards, puritanical attitudes which have been holding this country back for far too long. I'm just gonna let her go. I stayed in my seat and watched the events unfold. Monica turned to face the audience, speaking loud enough to be heard without a microphone. Women of Sutherland, we must not let people like Mr. Les use religion as a justification to demean and oppress us. Our time has come. Shocked gasps ran through the crowd. A few people rose and applauded. Curtin Les waited to speak. I think Mrs. Rain is forgetting a place. What do you think my place is, Mr. Les? The kitchen? This festival is not about your retrograde traditions. We're living in modern times now. It's 1954. And it isn't your place to decide how the people of Benfi, especially the women, should be celebrating their own festival. I kept watching in silence. I looked at the podium and see Curtin Les' piercing gaze on me. There'd surely be a price to pay for this. Mr. President, could you please control your wife before she embarrasses herself any further? You know what, douchebag? My wife is absolutely right. Monica looked at me, surprise registering on her face. Thank you, Anton. I turned to Curtin. Your task was to give an opening speech, not a moral lecture. I will finish my speech if you allow it, Mr. President. That's up to the people of Benfi, isn't it? I turned around to look at the crowd. The people immediately started booing Curtin. He ignored them and continued with his speech. Benfi has always been a beacon of culture, tradition, and religion. Many battles have been fought over this precious city. Army after army has tried to claim it for their own, but we fought back and won each time. We stand here thanks to strong men who are able to protect the families, their lands, their way of living. Every day I praise God that we have succeeded so far. Scattered applause broke out from some of the old members of the audience. I leaned over to Monica. He sounds more like a priest than a politician. I do not like it when the two collide. Yet the traditions that form the very fabric of our society are being tested, even as I speak. He looked pointedly at Monica. We must stay true to our values, so that Soldan can prevail, so that Benfi can prevail. With these at the forefront, I am convinced that Soldan will continue to be the greatest nation in the world. I invite every single one of you to celebrate our roots and our traditions at this holy Benfi Festival. I hereby declare the festival open. Praise God, praise Soldan, praise Benfi. A Morgna Vescore. Vector and Sista. Most of the people in the hall finished the decades-old saying, including me. Monica's lips moved, but she didn't say the words out loud. He exited the stage as the band struck up the official festival anthem. I spent the rest of the evening alternately watching the festivities, conversing with local politicians. By the time we got back to the hotel, I was exhausted. But thanks to the festivities still raging outside, and the sound of Monica tossing and turning beside me, I couldn't sleep at all. Alright. We might come to regret that later, but that's okay. I felt like it's the right thing to do, support her this time. Alright, so we got a couple of reports, a couple newspapers again. So let's take a look. From Lockhaven, calm returns to Nargis. Protests and occasional looting of the past weeks have ceased to occur in the region of Nargis, particularly in the city of Lockhaven. The Lockhaven police force has reported that the situation is now under control despite several small protests still going on across the region. From Suzerain, refugees of Vernon. Reports from our border and the Vasic city Vernon show that there are about 1,000 people running away from the Vasic military forces towards the Sordish border. And from Deer, Governor of Berger reports hundreds of BFF collaborators. The Governor of Berger, Felix Braun, suspects that hundreds of British Freedom Front collaborators living inside Deer posing a significant threat to national security. To counter this threat, the Governor has proposed a series of measures, including increased surveillance and intelligence gathering, as well as the deployment of additional security forces to the area. Due to the extra security authority vested upon him as Governor of the Special Zone, some of these measures can be implemented by the Governor inside Berger without the approval of the central government. The Governor has also suggested that community members be encouraged to report any suspicious activities or individuals, and that the government offer incentives for information leading to the capture of BFF members. The proposed measures raise concerns about potential violations of civil liberties, and it is recommended that the government follow the actions of the governor closely and ensure that he does not violate his authority as governor of the Special Zone. Indeed. Alright, we got two newspapers here. The first up from the Holsford Post. Grooney returns to normal life. This week, with the actions of the government and the police, the protests in the Grooney region came to an end, which have paralyzed the economy and left several people dead. One protest leader from Volgan said, "We want peace and unity. Nobody wants to see riots or violence. We're fed up with police brutality." Fair point. And Geopolitico, Valen deploying special forces to Vernon. Rocklovitz Valen. President Smolak has announced that the city of Vernon has been put under curfew, along with several other towns in the northeast of the country. The Vasic army has deployed specially trained forces in the area, I'm guessing, to combat the militant organization known as the Bluish Freedom Front. Valen has increased its efforts in fighting terrorism with aerial campaigns and ground operations targeting BFF militants and their hidden bases. This operation will surely have consequences for the region, particularly for the neighboring countries of Lesbia, Rumburg, and particularly Sorlin, which has a large population of British people living inside its borders. Cool. Alright. Let's head back to Holsor for some downtime at home. And it felt like it churned me since the Benfi Festival. Had it really only been less than 24 hours? I was at home now, drinking an afternoon coffee on my balcony. A stack of newspapers lay by my side. I picked them up one by one, reading and rereading the articles about the festival. Some of the newspapers were merciless against Monica for interrupting Curtin during his speech. A few even called for her to be barred from political matters. Others expressed their support. In any event, I was relieved that the incident hadn't reflected too badly on me. I was putting the last newspaper down as Monica joined me on the balcony. "Listen, can we talk for a bit?" "Of course, what is it?" Monica sat down and picked up the newspaper. She pointed to a particularly insulting headline on the front page. "I never in a million years would have wished for this, Anton. I just wanted to thank you for supporting me and apologize for creating such a spectacle. All I wanted was to bring people together the way you're able to, but not like this." Her eyes were getting moist. A single tear fell onto the newsprint. "I did warn you, but you were always stubborn." "I know. I'm sorry, but you are right. I am stubborn. Perhaps the festival wasn't the proper forum to air my views on women's rights, but I still need to do this, Anton. I want to officially adopt this cause for Slady, to actually get involved in politics, not just give impromptu speeches. I can even help your education minister with those reforms she's working on. I know this is something you're passionate about as well. Can I count on you?" "Of course, my love. I'm looking forward to working closer together." "Oh, Anton, this means so much to me." Monica hugged me tightly, and I felt some of the past day's tensions melt away. "Thank you." A noise came from the balcony door. We both turned our heads to see Gianna standing there. "Mom, I'm hungry." "Let's go to the kitchen, baby. We'll make Papa the best snack ever." "Yeah." They left the balcony and returned half an hour later with a large cookie. Gianna had written my name and icing on it. As I sipped my coffee and nibbled the cookie, I thought that I had made the right choice. Things were going to get harder, but at least my life at home was somewhat peaceful. Fantastic. All right. Well, I know we got a couple reports, a bunch of newspapers, but I don't know. It feels like as good a place as any to go and call it for today. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see y'all next time.